Chris, thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
Beautiful day
Yeah.
today. There are a significant number of candidates in the GOP race for governor. What separates you from them?
Well, I think clear distinction. I'm an outsider. I believe that the career politicians in Salem have failed us. And here we are as a state where we're last in just about every category, from education, where we're 50th, 47th job creation. Portland's ranked 80th out of 81 cities. Addiction and mental illness, we're number one. You know, I can go on, and I think it's clear, and I believe people are frustrated by what's been happening, the partisan politics, the bickering, that we need an outsider to come in, an outsider that has business experience, someone who can bring us together and say, we've got serious problems in our state, and we need serious solutions, and we need to do it now. We are failing our kids. We are failing the next generation, and we need new leadership, fresh leadership to come in and say, let's get this done.
Your opponents would argue that you do need some insider knowledge of the mechanisms in Salem to hit the ground running. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, my opponents have been part of the problem. I mean, we're 50th. So how has that insider knowledge been working? I mean, you can't make these numbers up. And I would argue that having, for example, from my background, where I've been the CEO of a company, chairman of the board of a medical device company in Beaverton, worked on negotiating billion-dollar collective bargaining agreements when I was with the Players Association in the NBA, having started a small business investment firm, that those experiences, having run a foundation for over 30 years, those experiences are important and bring that breadth of experience. And we haven't had a governor with a business background in the governor's office in over 40 years, and I would say it shows. We need that, and it's the problem is we have such partisanship, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, that you need somebody who can come in and say, let's work together and tackle these real problems that our state is facing.
Is a lack of checks and balances at the heart of the problem here?
Yes, absolutely. It's we've been under one-party control for so long. You know, when I ran in 2010, it was the closest election in the last 70 years, and one thing I took a lot of joy in was that even though we lost a very close election, that we went from a super minority to evenly split in the legislature after that election. And I believe by running at the top of the ticket on a message that resonates across party lines, helped the Republicans have the biggest pickup in legislative history and got us to a good place in the state by being balanced. And I think we need to do that again, where we run on a message, have a messenger who can connect across party lines and say, here's where we go. We've got these issues that we have to face. The core issues that I'm running on are education, economy, livability, which includes affordability and safety. Issues, it doesn't matter if you're independent, Republican, Democrat, you want good schools, you want jobs available, you want your kids to be able to afford to live where you grew up, and you want safe streets. And those are the messages that I'm running on.
All right, let's talk about schools. You know, obviously the numbers, you cited some of them a moment ago. I think 47th with some test scores. What's the solution there? I know Mississippi, they're touting some success there. People here, who are, perhaps with the Oregon Education Association, is saying that the Mississippi model wouldn't work here. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the Mississippi miracle, where they went from 47th to 1st, is a great example. And it's not just Mississippi. There's other states across. Indiana's doing great things right now. Even Washington's made some strides. That we have to embrace the science of reading. It's getting back to the cores, getting back to the fundamentals. And literally in 4th grade, we're 50th in testing. And that's atrocious, to say the least. And I've said on day one as governor, I will declare a state of emergency. One of the key things there is making sure that all our teachers are equipped to teach in the science of reading. And this is a huge component. If you're not literate by 4th grade, you're 4 times as likely to drop out of high school, up to a 70% chance of incarceration. This is a big deal. We're failing our kids right now. And when you look at it, that the kids that are graduating, 40% of them need remedial classes when they go to community colleges. That's unacceptable, and we've got to change that.
You also talked about business-friendly environment. I know we've ranked close to last when it comes to that. What is the problem, and what's your prescription for the solution?
Well, a couple, and we've driven over 10,000 miles in the last 10 weeks. We've done round tables, meet and greets in all 36 counties, and one theme that comes across is Oregon's gone from business unfriendly to actually business adversarial right now. And as governor, I've said on day one, Oregon is open for business. We're going to have an environment where Oregon businesses that follow our values can flourish. We need that. We, as an economy, we have to grow to be able to afford the services we want. And part of that is communication. Part of it is being able to tell small businesses that I will not allow any legislation, new taxes to cross my desk that don't make sense for our business environment, because it's a problem. And I'm concerned how many businesses have left our state, are in the process of leaving it right now as I'm talking to different companies, are actually looking, or they're expanding, and all their expansion is out of state. And we have to have, as governor, I'll be a salesman for the state. I will work with businesses, attract new businesses, sell Oregon nationally. It's something that needs to be done, as our reputation has been tarnished under the leadership of Governor Kotek. We're really, it used to be that when you were traveling across the country and you said you were from Portland, you said you were from Oregon, you said it with pride, and someone would say, hey, that's an awesome place. Now you feel like you're on the defensive, I'm sorry, and we've got to restore that and do that quickly, and that's a key role of the governor, is to be a salesman for the state.
I agree with you. I get those comments from friends and family members as well, but at the same time, I'm looking here around us, and I mean, look at this place, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like, how do you screw this up, right? We have so many resources. There's so much going for us. It shouldn't be that difficult to sell Oregon, right?
No, it shouldn't be at all. I mean, there's a reason, and that was the positive of travel in the state. How many good people we have. We live in, I would argue, the most beautiful state in the country with the diversity of landscape and what we have here. We have so much going for us, and that's what's encouraging when talk about Portland potentially being in an economic doom loop, what's happening and how that's happened to other cities. Well, we're different than those other cities. We have so many advantages, and our problems have been self-inflicted, not something structural from the outside. We can change it, and I believe, as governor, change it quickly. And we need an outsider with a business background to be able to do that. Somebody who can bring us together, and somebody who understands understands business, and says we can grow in a reasonable manner, but we have to grow and get our state back going in the direction it should be.
In order to attract those businesses and retain those businesses, many have said that you have to address the public disorder situation, the crime and the safety situation, particularly downtown Portland and really in other areas as well. What are we doing wrong, and how would you fix it?
Yeah, and I'll lead with this. When I'm running on education, the economy, they all fit hand in glove. That if you want business here, you want to keep employees here, you want to attract employees, you need good schools and you need safe streets. And so I do think it's imperative, as governor, one of the top priorities is keeping your citizens safe and making sure that people are comfortable going downtown, going to parks, going to trails. And we've lost that in so many ways. There's a lot of reasons for that. Part of it is not enforcing the rule of law, perhaps the way we should. We also are 48th in number of officers per capita. I don't think it should have been surprising to anyone that when Governor Kotek push forth decriminalizing drugs and defunding the police at the same time, that things didn't work out well. We need to refocus on keeping our streets safe. And with the homeless, we have an addiction crisis across our state, and it's a problem, and it's sad where we've gotten to. I believe you have to focus on aggressive outreach, prevention, and recovery. And those are the core areas that we have to do that. We also have to get the poison, and I call poison the things that if you do once, twice, 3 times, literally kill you, such as fentanyl, off our streets. I should not be able to go downtown Portland, as I've done many times, and watch drug deals go down in broad daylight. That should not happen. And we need to change that. We need to get away from a culture of enablement, but to actually helping and focus on helping. And I've spent a lot of time in homeless areas, whether it's Old Town in Portland, whether it's Wallace Park in Salem, Dirt World in Redmond, whatever it might be, understanding, talking with homeless people, how they got there. And there's stories behind they got there, but actually helping them. It's either helping them with the mental illness, with the drug addiction, or helping them on a path to getting back on their feet. And we need to do a much better job of that.
Yeah, whoever wins the GOP primary, it's a safe bet that the Democrats will try to tie them to President Trump and the Trump administration. Where do you diverge from the Trump administration's policies when it comes to governing the state of Oregon and policies in Oregon?
Well, and I'll tell my Democrat counterpoints, unfortunately for you, President is not on the ballot. I am. And I'm Oregon first. I will do what is best for the state of Oregon. And I will work with any administration, whoever is president, because he won't be president the entire time I'm governor, to do what's best for the state. If it's something that helps our state, I'll embrace it. If it's something that doesn't, I'll push back on it. For example, I've said that as governor, I would not have wanted the National Guard from another state coming into our state. But as governor, I wouldn't have needed the National Guard from another state coming into our state. So I will push back where appropriate at the time, but just not do it for politics. That's where I find fault now. It seems everything's about grandstanding, about politics. We need serious leaders. The role as the governor is to lower the temperature on so many issues, not just inflame it, constantly inflame it. And I will pivot back to we need to get our house in order in Oregon. We need to focus on Oregon. And when you are in last or the bottom 10 in so many categories, we have to get serious about that. And I will want support from both sides, frankly, bipartisan, to say we need to focus on these solutions to address the issues that are in our state. And that's the core mission of what we need to do. And we need somebody who's an outsider to come in to do that, because it's obvious that those who are on the inside right now aren't getting it done.
Are the loudest voices being given too much attention?
Yes, yes, always. And it's we need more serious leadership and not just the as I said, the partisan politics. Frankly, we need to, on both sides, we need to come in and say, here's where we're at. It should embarrass people that we're 50th. It should embarrass people that when I am going across the state and talking to business leaders or stores, for example, and they're telling me the first question they're asking high school graduates is, can you give change? What's 40% of 100? That's where we're at right now, where we have to say, we've got to start focusing on the main things, the fundamentals of teaching, of education. We're failing our kids right now, and we need to get Oregon back to where it needs to be and say, this is a great state. We have so much going for us, but if we work together, we can get this done.
I've heard you talk about accountability. There's so much money now going to non-government organizations, NGOs, nonprofits, and it seems like a lot of times we don't know where those dollars exactly are going, and there's no metric for following progress or where we might want to spend more, spend less. How do you solve that?
Well, first of all, you need to, as you do in business, you need to do audits. You need to look at where the dollars are going. But I would argue we do audits now, because that term's thrown out a lot. It's not just that you do audits, it's what you do with the information. And you look at Portland, for example, where we spent $1.5 billion in the last biennium on homelessness, and yet it went up by 35%. You need to, in my opinion, focus on a output model. What are the results versus now we're focused on an input model? How are we actually, let's put money where it's actually helping, where we're getting the results, getting that ROI, versus just throwing money at it without actually helping. And we're in a culture of enablement right now, and we need to actually help. When I'm walking on the streets of Portland and talking to homeless and saying, hey, how long have you been here? 10 years, 15 years. When's the last time you talked to a social worker? Well, never, or a year ago they told me to call this number. That's a problem. That's enablement, not helping. And we're right now, we need to change that. We need to have accountability and really focus the dollars that we have towards getting results.
Is there anything else as we wrap up that you want voters to know about you, the candidate?
I'm an optimist, and I am so encouraged and energized by the energy I see across our state. Doing roundtables and meet and greets, events in all 36 counties. There's so many great people out there who want to step up, want to help, and feel that Oregon deserves better than what we're getting right now. And I believe that we can. And the good news is there are solutions to all these problems. We just have to come together to get them. And so I'm optimistic that you turn it around. If Portland, for example, if people are comfortable going downtown, and it's an amazing city. It's a beautiful city. I fell in love with it when I came here over 30 years ago, and the state is amazing, an amazing place. If we have the leadership, and Oregon used to be a place that was known for its vision. And we've gotten to where we're just going from crisis to crisis with no vision, no leadership. If we have that leadership, have that vision, we can get back to where we're a leader in our country, not a laggard. There's no reason we should be at the bottom in all these categories. So I'm very optimistic that we can turn it around. And as governor, again, it has to be somebody from the outside coming in who has the ability of cutting through the noise, the fear-mongering, the name-calling, cut through that noise and say, Oregon deserves better, and not only does it deserve better, we can do better.